Hi, this is Mick Napier from Scottish Palestine Solidarity Campaign, and we are actively involved with a range of partners in Scotland Supports Palestine. Art27, Friends of Al-Aqsa, Glasgow Palestine Human Rights Campaign, Muslim Council of Scotland, Network of Photographers for Palestine, Palestine Action, Scotland Against Criminalising Communities, Scottish Friends of Palestine, Scottish Palestinian Community. That's quite a combination of groups all working together. We are jointly organising a week of meetings and events across Scotland in the week from the 8th to the 14th of May, with demonstrations in Glasgow, Edinburgh and Dundee on Saturday the 13th. Our aim that this should be an annual event of Scotland Supports Palestine, repeated in 2024 and thereafter, growing and spreading and broadening and deepening across Scotland in order to change the atmosphere to make it even better in terms of sympathy and solidarity with Palestinians, and more hostile to those people in Scotland who support and defend and even promote Israel's bloody crackdown on Palestinians and the ethnic cleansing of the indigenous people of Palestine. During the week of the 8th, we've got a wide range of different kinds of events and discussions and meetings. We open in Glasgow with the Reverend Ian Black talking about early Christian Zionism. He's written about it, he's talked about it, and he'll be explaining how Christian Zionism greatly precedes Jewish Zionism, and its influence was strongly felt among key sections of the British elite. And this was part of the power and force that was able to overcome Jewish opposition to Zionism and widespread opposition to the colonisation of Palestine. It'll be a must-see, must-hear talk in Glasgow on Monday the 8th at 7:30 and later in the week in Edinburgh at 6 o'clock. We'll also be opening the first day with Tony Greenstein talking on his excellent, very recent book, Zionism During the Holocaust, which comes highly praised by Israeli historian of the Nakba, Ilan Pappé, and by esteemed filmmaker Ken Loach, who both praise the book and say it's a must-read. Tony Greenstein will be talking about the natural, consistent alliance between Zionists, those who wish Jews to leave Europe, and anti-Semites, those who wish to drive Jews out of Europe, and the common interest that they shared, which has led from the beginning of Zionism to the present day to Zionism's collusion with the worst anti-Semites and the most brutal regimes on the planet. We'll follow that up. During the week, we also commemorate the anniversary of the killing of Palestinian journalist, Palestinian-American journalist Shireen Abu Akleh, and we'll have journalists Yvonne Ridley and Asa Winstanley discussing how she died, why she was killed, and also why Israel has killed 55 journalists since the year 2000 and got away with it, and how Netanyahu still managed, while these killings were full spate, to march through the streets of Paris in a demonstration with world leaders for free speech for journalists. We'll also have Musheir Farra. His family's in Gaza. Musheir, some of his family's in Gaza, 11 of them were killed when a bomb was dropped on their home, part of which was made in Glenrothes in Fife. Musheir is the author of When the Sky Rained White Fire, a memoir of his and his family and friends in Gaza. But he'll be showing 2 new short films produced in Gaza, never before seen in Scotland, and he'll be discussing the content of them and answering any of your questions, not just about the horror of Israel's continued occupation of Gaza. They control the perimeter, ingress and egress, but also what we can do about it. Those are some of the speakers that we have. We'll have Palestinian voices who'll be raising their voices to tell their own stories as part of the overall national tragedy of the Nakba. Amina and Amira and Wael will be explaining how they came to be living in Scotland and the perpetrators of the crimes that drove their families out of their homes. We'll also hear testimonies from Palestinian prisoners, those who have spent considerable amounts of time inside the Israeli gulag. Coming in from Palestine by Zoom is Khalida Jarrar, an elected member of the legislature who's been jailed many times without trial under laws bequeathed to the Zionists by the British occupation. And Issam Hijawi, who spent long periods in Israeli prisons as well, a doctor currently living in Edinburgh. Ronnie Barkin is a high-profile Israeli anti-Zionist who will be leading us through the current situation in Israel, massive demonstrations against the government, and he'll be talking about the Israeli regime, continuity and change. Is this the worst ever Israeli government? Is Israel descending into fascism? There'll be a fascinating discussion with Ronnie Barkin. We'll show a film from Balfour to Banksy. There'll be an evening of culture, of poetry and prose readings by Tamdeen Byrne, Pauline Goldsmith and Ghazi Hussein, a Palestinian poet and playwright, in Glasgow on Friday night. Saturday will be demonstrations, as I mentioned earlier. On Sunday the 14th, in Southside Community Centre in Edinburgh, Art 27 will be having a whole day of family-focused events, all sorts of stuff. Look at the programme to find out the details of this packed day of celebration of Palestinian culture. We hope you will not only support this week, which aims to raise the whole profile of Palestine within Scottish society, but we hope that you will vigorously promote it to your networks and ask them to vigorously promote it onwards. That's how we can work together. The Zionists work together. They may hate each other, they often do, but they work together to help defend the ethnic cleansing of Palestine. We need to work together in solidarity and trust in order to build a human rights-based and a political rights-based opposition. The murderers are clearly, unashamedly promoting their projects in Palestine. They're determined to destroy the Al-Aqsa Mosque and replace it with a supposed Jewish temple. We need to be on guard. Sunak is a Zionist. Keir Starmer is a Zionist, he said, without qualification. These are bad times to stand up for human rights anywhere, and that includes in Scotland. But I hope to see you support Scotland Supports Palestine. Please get in touch if you want some publicity materials, stuff you can use on social media, or leaflets and booklets you can give out to contacts and friends. Thank you.